Welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged.
where the characters are as quirky as the finds.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jake.
Join us as we dive into the wild world of garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and anywhere secondhand sales are happening.
From bizarre bargains to hilarious haggles.
You won't believe the stories we've got lined up.
Let's get unhinged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged. Okay, hold on. I had a thought. I was going to do this as an NPR podcast.
Oh, that means you need to whisper a lot.
Because, it's almost like the SNL skit for, those ladies that were doing the baking thing on SNL. And it's very soothing and it's very calm. And it's welcome, everyone, to Garage Sales Unhinged, where we talk about the crazy crap that happens at garage sales and yard sales and the secondhand marketplace. But I also have a little bit of a raspy voice that would work really well for a 900 number because I'm getting over a sinus infection. But
it's a really good way to date yourself by referencing a 900 number. I mean, that's not even
Are there still 900 numbers out there?
Well, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying is I doubt there are. I mean, you got to think the smut industry has undergone some of the fastest evolution of all of them here lately, right? I mean, you don't find things buried in the woods anymore.
Well, but now I'm like, I wonder if I create an OnlyFans and instead of it being video, it's just audio and it's me doing a 900 number voice.
There's probably that's called ASMR. That's what that's for.
Well, and then I could just read the actual articles from Playboy magazine since that's
boring as hell. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, sultry voice for Norman Mailer. Yeah.
So, I have a friend from high school, Rachel. Jacob knows her. And I came up with a great idea before OnlyFans was a thing. Rachel's in the finance.
Okay, I was like, wait, what are you? Rachel's in what?
No. So she has a finance career, and I'm in the marketing side. And I thought, how great would it be if she and I just like hanging out with my friends, right? And so I come up with weird excuses to hang out with friends. And I was like, how great would it be if Rachel and I did like a YouTube show that was called Two Girls, One Bathtub?
Oh, no.
And we would just take a bubble bath. Now, granted, we could be wearing swimsuits, but nobody would know that. Well, now they know because I just said it. But we would be in the bathtub. And I'm thinking of it's a camera shot at like a penthouse, hotel overlooking like this, great skyline. But I gave you a face.
No, yeah, sure it would be. No, you're setting up a camera. You're setting up a smartphone, a laptop just to record in a plexiglass, at a plexiglass tub that both of you are barely fitting in together.
Well, but then I was like, I'm gonna call it Two Girls, One Bathtub, and all we're gonna talk about are just boring business topics. But people would pay to watch it because it's Two Girls, One Bathtub.
Right. I honestly think that's where the future of education and tutoring is gonna go. It's like the actual content that's shared is your standard. Hey, here's how you read a Shakespearean sonnet, but it's delivered from a person that is dressed a certain way. But yeah, here's the 10 business marketing rules you can use in a sexy consultant uniform or something like that.
Or in just a bubble bath, no clothes, just a bubble bath. And Rachel laughed at it. She laughed at my idea, but she didn't say no. So
well, there you go.
I feel like I got something going on. Okay. That was a lot of fodder. How are you doing, Jake?
I'm doing fine.
I'm flustered.
I don't have big business. My big business idea is to open a potato restaurant and call it Tater's Precious. And it's filled with a lot of intellectual property law violating references to the trilogy of Lord of the Rings. But I don't know that I'm going to be able to get the loan on that.
Okay. Can we talk real quick about TV? Have you watched the Apple TV show Shrinking?
I know of it. I don't have Apple TV, so no. There's a lot of there's a lot of the zeitgeist that I'm not able to partake in because I don't subscribe to all the things.
So I'm in a similar boat. We don't subscribe to everything, but we definitely have Apple TV, and they got us because they gave us like an introductory 3 months free.
Right.
And so we're like, yeah, we'll watch it. And then at the end of the 3 months, my husband and I had a conversation. We actually had a conversation about it. We didn't forget that we were paying for it. And they actually have a lot of good shows in there. And like Ted Lasso, Shrinking is one of them. Also all from the same creator that I love, Bill Lawrence, who was the creator behind Scrubs. Man, I can just go down the whole Bill Lawrence resume. He does great work. Also a big Zach Braff fan. So anyway, Shrinking. There is an episode where one of the female characters is talking about, like, she invited a guy over to her place and they were gonna like have wine and listen to music, and she got a song, and in the episode she talks about it, it's Lord of the Rings trap music.
Okay.
And like we laughed about it and ha ha ha. Well, later that week after we watched that episode, I went on Spotify and I found the song, and it is such a banger. It is so good. And it
Wait,
is,
so it's like the Lord of the Rings kind of flute kind of music, but it's set to like a trap backbeat or something?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Well, and the guy and the duo that did the song kind of summarized the whole Lord of the Rings in like a 2 minute, 30-second song. And every single time, because they mention of like, why does the Eye of Sauron look like a giant butthole? And I just die laughing every time I hear that.
Mm.
And I mean, if that doesn't win a Grammy, then the Grammys are rigged.
I
Like,
know, right?
I don't know where I was going with this. You said Lord of the Rings and My Precious, the potato
Well,
thing.
yeah, that's my business idea. Tater's Precious.
Mm.
There'll be it's baked potatoes and various appetizers. Like there's an order of onion rings, and it's a stack of 10 rings with like a Roma tomato sliced vertically and in half on top. It looks like the Eye of Sauron, and it's called the Tower of Power.
I mean, it's an idea. Also, since we're saying this on the podcast, someone's going to go out there and make it happen, and we're going
Well,
to
that's
be
the
really
thing. I know. That's like a like if I had just like, hey, go to hell money, that's what I would do. I'd like the place would get shut down immediately because like, oh yeah, it's totally violating IP law. But like, yeah, that's fine. I'm just doing this for the jokes.
yeah. I mean, isn't that what everyone should be doing, is just do it for the jokes?
Yeah, I guess that's really. I feel like that's the driving purpose anymore. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want that until it comes to my doctor. Doctor, don't do it for the jokes. Just give it to me.
Right. You know what'd be hilarious is if we just don't do the radiation treatment. That'd be so damn good. Let's try it. You want to try it?
The
Well,
office the office has an over and under of how long you're going to live. Come on, win me $50. Like, yeah,
we need you
no.
to pick a square.
Are you planning a garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale and need some help? Look no further than Garage Sale Supply. They provide top-notch resources and expert advice to help you host the perfect sale. From pricing tips to promotional strategies, they've got you covered. Visit GarageSaleSupply.com and make your next sale a success.
Okay, none of that has to do with today's episode topic. So I want to jump into this because I'm super excited about it, because it's one of those things where someone bought a treasure at a garage sale, and it's like, it's a cool story. So like, it's very much a no whammies moment. So I feel like, there is a segment of people that go to garage sales and they're looking for that treasure item. Now, granted, I like to go to garage sales, thrift stores, things like that. And I want to find things that I like, that would go well in my house. If I come home and find out that they're worth a lot of money, hey, fantastic. I'm still going to keep it, and I want to enjoy it. Back in 2016, an antiques collector in Minnesota bought a painting at a garage sale for $50.
Okay. I mean, I'm guessing that's not the punchline because somebody I mean, that's not the whole story.
That's it.
It's,
And
oh,
that's
okay. Like,
no, no.
somebody with the time in Minnesota went, oh, that's that's good. I like that one.
So yeah, very, the Midwest people, fantastic folks. This painting, I don't know how large it is, but we're gonna say it's poster size, right? I don't know. But it is a portrait of a fisherman smoking a pipe, and the fisherman sitting on the beach repairing a net in this painting. And it's titled Elimar. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's Elimar, so maybe it's Elimar, Elimar, I don't know. And it's dated 1889.
Oh, wow.
So now, granted, I've seen some things at thrift stores, garage sales, Goodwill, all those things, and it says something's dated older, but it's like it's reproduction, it's not a real thing. However, this could be an original painting from 1889. Jacob, do you happen to know which legendary painter was around in 1889?
No. I mean, I could sit here and act like I'm cultured enough to know. I mean, I'm sure I was taught a lot of stuff at some point in my life, but I didn't retain that stuff. And if I venture a guess, I'm probably going to humiliate myself.
Do you want me to give you a hint?
When I like, oh, somebody that would paint the fisherman. I mean, Picasso started off by sketching hands, so, but it's in Minnesota. Okay, Picasso, you made a face. Yeah, it's Picasso, isn't it?
No, not
Oh.
Picasso. And also Picasso, that is not his style of painting. It's like you know nothing, you uncultured swine. I was gonna
Hey,
give
I'm sitting here. All I've got is a potato restaurant idea that's going to get me in legal trouble. What do you expect?
well, I was gonna give you the hint.
Oh,
Potato.
great hint.
Wait, now that I said that, I wonder if they actually painted something with potato.
If they painted something with potato, the medium is potato.
Um, no, yeah, I did get it right. Okay, yeah, I am cultured. So there.
Can we make some merch? I want there to be a bumper sticker or a T-shirt that says the medium is potato.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. Um, so would it help you if I said potato eater?
No,
You're so fed up with this guessing game.
potato eater. Oh, no, go ahead.
So there is thought that this painting that this antiques collector bought for $50 at a garage sale in 2016 is an original Vincent Van Gogh painting.
That's what I was thinking.
No, you weren't. You weren't
I was
thinking.
come on, you say, hey, famous painter, a few names come to mind. And obviously one of them is Van Gogh.
And obviously you didn't say that.
No, I did not. But I mean, I want you to continue the story, but can you also, at some point in there, please also help me understand Van Gogh's connection to potato?
He painted the painting, The Potato Eaters.
Oh,
Again, you uncultured swine.
I don't know. I mean, come on. Eh, it would make so much more sense if life worked out in a way that Van Gogh painted something with corn, because I associate Van Gogh with ears, not eyes.
Oh, and children, if you want to know what Jacob's referring to, go to your public library. Hopefully that book has not been burned yet.
And
So-
hopefully the library is still funded.
So this again, I'm going back to the story. The antiques collector bought it, and then he ended up selling the painting to an art research firm called LMI Group International. They're purchased out of New York. They purchased the painting for an undisclosed sum from the antiques collector in 2019. So the antiques collector bought it in 2016. This firm bought it in 2019, and they're currently working on authenticating the painting. They've hired research teams. They've hired I say research teams. I was going to say researchers. They hired scientists. So like they're testing the paint. They're doing research on Van Gogh's life. They're doing all that.
Yeah.
Um,
They got the CSI art squad team in there. to
Yeah.
really get a look. But no, I like that's like really important work because like, hey, this is actually like, is this an actual precious item, or did somebody just buy a reproduction?
Or is it just a potato?
Is it just a potato? Hey, come on, taters are precious.
So, in order for this painting to be given the nod of approval, it has to come from the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam before officially saying it's an original Van Gogh. But this research, this LMI group, they're doing all the research to do that. And if you look at Van Gogh's life, it could have been painted by him while he was at St. Paul Psychiatric Hospital in southern France. And he lived there from May 1889 through May 1890. And during that time, during that year that he was there, he actually painted 150 works of art.
Wow.
And during that time, most of his notable works of art, which is irises and the Starry Night, were produced. So kind of like the swirling type thing, heavy on the paint. And whenever you look at this fisherman painting, which you can see on our Instagram handle of Garage Sales Unhinged, kind of has that same type of Van Gogh vibe.
I would only like to be that like productive while recuperating in some sense.
Well, part of me is going like, what if part of the recovery was an art class, but then they saw like, oh wow, he can really paint, and then it's like a sweatshop, and it was like, we
This
know
guy
you
should be
want to.
teaching the class.
It's like we know you want to take a nap, Vincent, but paint 5 more.
Right, right. Hey, we really need you to touch up the sign out front. If you could just kind of seeing this wall more of a uh alabaster white, if you don't mind.
And they say that if this does become authenticated as an original Van Gogh, it's worth, drum roll please, $15 million.
Wow. That's a good buy. That's a good buy.
For anyone that's from the Midwest listening to this podcast, I apologize for Jake's accent.
What's the regional dish around there? Hot what's it called?
Cross buns? I don't know.
No, it's like a casserole it's covered with tater tots.
Breakfast casserole?
No, it's a dinner casserole, man. I'm gonna figure out how like hot is it hot dish? Yeah, hot dish. That how much hot dish you could get with that kind of scrub, man.
Well, I mean, since Van Gogh did paint potato eaters, it's very likely that he could paint hot
Wow.
dish eaters.
Ooh.
So, and there's not a lot of details about this painting of how did it get from the south of France to Minnesota, and the family that was selling it in the garage sale. Oh God! Like, you, oh man,
No
I like
joke. That
what
sucks
for
so
$50
bad.
for something that you really needed, and also for the amount of research that the LMI group is doing, no individual could do that. Like you have to have the resources to make all that happen. It also, in the articles that I read, they don't share what they paid the antiques collector for it. I'm sure the antiques collector kind of knew what they had. Now, granted, they did not get 15 million because it's not authenticated. And there may have been an agreement to like once it's authenticated and if they send it to auction, then maybe the antiques collector gets some of the proceeds of that. So anyway, I just thought it was like it is very much a no whammies type of thing. You go to a garage sale and you found the treasure trove of an item. But I also wanted to equate this of the person bought it for $50 at a garage sale and the potential of it being worth $15 million. And those are big number. $50 not a big number, but 15 million is a big number, right? And I did the math for everyone. And let's say that somebody wanted to buy a brand new vehicle. And you have these big trucks, you have luxury SUVs. Let's say you're going to buy $100,000 vehicle, right? So, I'm going to equate this to a luxury SUV. I'm going to equate it to a brand new pickup truck with all the bells and whistles like that. Those cost $100,000. It would be equivalent that if someone was to give you a $100,000 car and you paid 33 cents for it.
Wow.
That's the math difference here.
Yeah.
So, the family that sold it for $50, they sold a $100,000 car for 33 cents. If the math all worked out that way. But anyway, the life of this painting going from south of France, being created by Vincent Van Gogh, to a family in Minnesota selling it at a garage sale because they thought, oh, this is worth nothing. It's been up in the attic forever. Or, we got it from our Aunt Joan after she passed away. And we just, it's taken up space. And now this could be one of the, great works of art from one of the world's best artists, and going, oh crap, like, can we get that back?
I love, you hear about these kinds of stories, and so often there's, a good bit of time spent talking to the person that found them, that kind of discovered them,
Yeah.
and did like this. They paid pennies for something that's actually invaluable. It's like crazy, super rare. So many, this is worth an insane amount of money. They talked to those guys that found those, and they're, beaming and like, wow, I can't believe, I was just so surprised. I really hope it's authenticated and all that other stuff. They don't seem to spend that much time talking about the people that sold it
Yeah.
for $50, because those people are just dejected, like, really happy for them. Yeah, it's great that preserving art history, really important. I'm just gonna go over here and finish this noose.
Well, it's also like one of those shows that you and I both love is Arrested Development, and there's always money in the banana stand. There's always potatoes in the artwork. So like it's a thing. So but yeah,
Potato
I thought it was such an interesting story. And this came out, even though again, it was bought in 2016, resold in 2019 to this firm. Within just like the past month or so, it became actual news in a lot of different outlets. And I think part of it is that this firm that bought it, they're getting closer and closer to getting it authenticated. So, which is why it's making the rounds in the art circles and the garage sale circles.
Do you think you might have anything? Because you've been in the whole secondhand game for a little bit. Uh, do you think you might have anything stored away that might be worth more than you realize?
Yes. Do you remember? Now I'm going to say it, and everyone's going to be like, "Ah, I'm going to go steal it from her." Um, do you remember the artwork that we bought at the hospice resale store? And it was it was as if you're sitting in the orchestra, and it looks like a pencil sketch, and you're looking out to the audience. So you see the conductor, you see some of the other musicians, but you're actually looking out at the audience. It's signed and it's dated. I just don't know, can't figure out who the artist is. I think it was created in 1989, but it is there's a lot of movement in the picture. It's just a pencil sketch type thing, and I love that thing. And it sits on display in my house now, but I think it's probably worth something.
I think you're right. I do remember it. A lot of the movement you're talking about, it's as though the artist um, is portraying the movement of sound from the instruments
It's
out to the audience. It's
yeah,
actually really amazing.
you're correct, and I'm laughing at it because I'm like, if it were me, that movement would have been like I just sneezed a bunch as I was trying to create this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But no, yeah, you're right. That is one to have it. You're gonna have to like figure that out.
yeah.
You're sitting on a gold mine, Julie. How much hot dish there could be?
Well, and again, it's one of those things of
That's a lot of potatoes.
I like that we keep bringing it back to potatoes. Good for us. Um, I think it's also one of those things like I just really enjoy it. It brings me a lot of joy to look at it and enjoy it. And so if someone came to me and is like, "Hey, that thing's worth $80,000," one, I would insure it appropriately. But I'm like, okay, well, I still enjoy it. I don't. But whenever the time comes and I need the money,
Right, right. Yeah. You know what? I can go and enjoy it on exhibit at the museum that bought it from me.
but anyway, I thought this was just a cool story of like, uh, it's it's one of those things that we all hope to come across
Right.
at yard sales and estate sales, and someone actually did it, and it like within, the past 10 years this happened. So pretty cool.
One of those like, oh, like it could happen to me kind of things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't heard about that. I'd love to know if you don't mind, like keep your finger on the pulse of this because I'm really curious to know how it got from way over there
I would
to Minnesota.
I'd also imagine the family that sold it and that now all this stuff is coming out that they're like,
Yeah.
"We can't talk about." Each time we try to talk about it, we just start throwing up, like,
That's what I meant earlier. Is like no one spends any time catching up with the people that sold the thing and didn't
no.
realize they were sitting on millions of dollars.
Well, and I hope that antiques collector goes to that family and like, "Hey, I'm gonna actually give you more money down the road," but you never know. You never know.
Not a
It's a
chance.
business, right?
Yeah, no, man. Well, here's to hoping. That it's like kind of make me go, but do I spend my money more wisely by hoping for something like that at an estate sale or something like that? Is that better than going and hoping for a big payout at the slot machine? I mean, I feel like the first choice, even if it's not worth a stupid amount of money, I can at least get something out of it, right?
Well, that's also how people end up hoarding things that they think is worth a lot of money and it's not. So, again, this is an antique collector. They're trained, they're skilled. I would hope that. I don't know. I've watched garage sale mysteries on the Hallmark Channel. They ain't all trained. Um, but you would hope that they have, this an eye for this type of thing. They know what to look for, where people like our parents will go out to estate sales and buy stuff and going, oh, this is going to be worth something someday. And then they have an attic full of things that we're going to have to clear out upon their death. So,
Yeah.
uh, part of me's going, what, let's just take $100 and go to the casino. That'll be better.
Well, keep in mind too, Van Gogh, I don't think his stuff really took off until well after his passing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, like, that painting totally was something that somebody just had, and then the next person just had.
Well,
And
and
it was just something, and it's signed, but it's like, who the hell is that? Who cares? And it's amazing that it wasn't destroyed over time because Van Gogh wasn't Van Gogh until much later.
yeah, he was Van Gone before he went Van Gogh.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Wow. But the truth is, though, like those things that are just cluttering up the attic, like, no, yeah, they're not worth anything right now. But the person that made that thing might become, a hot item in 40 years, and then it'll become worthwhile. You never know. So the lesson here is don't ever throw anything away.
And I am telling everyone to clear out their stuff. Anyway, that's this week's episode. I wanted to share that story with everybody.
Thanks, Julie. That's fascinating.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.